Hey everybody, welcome to KimmelsIrishPub.com. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Hopefully you're excited to watch the game tonight. As I am, I'm excited, although I wish the Falcons were in it again this year. They were close. If they would have just beat the Eagles and maybe got by the Vikings, they could lose to Tom Brady and the Patriots again this Sunday. So hopefully the Eagles don't fall to the same fate as the Falcons. I'm rooting for them. Pennsylvania native, obviously. When I was a kid, I loved the Eagles. It wasn't until I went to high school that I started to like the Falcons and made the transition. So, you know, I still like the Eagles. I'm a little disappointed they beat the Falcons because they could be in it this year if they didn't beat them. But we got to pull for my hometown heroes, right? I realized that I don't do enough fantasy football or beer-related or drink-related videos. It's really gotten into the movies because I watch so many movies and do all the movies reviews. So I thought I'd take this time on Super Bowl Sunday talk a little bit more about fantasy football. Before I do that, I thought I'd share with you what I'm kicking off this Super Bowl Sunday with. This is a Hop Slam Ale from Bell's. It's a double IPA brewed with honey. And this is like a limited release. You don't really see this all that often. It only comes out. It's hard to get. I think those things are losing their luster, if you will, because there's so many great beers out there now that, you know, like something like this, while it is good, this cost me $5 for this can. I think there's a lot of other good beers out there that are just as good as this that you can buy, you know, a 4-pack of or 6-pack any day of the week. So I'll enjoy it and I'll buy it, you know, so it still works. But, you know, I think these limited releases might be losing a little something. And these hard to get beers when you can find all these other ones. But that's not why I brought you here. I brought you here to talk about fantasy football. So fantasy football, a lot of people think it ends after their season's over, after their championship's over. They stop paying attention, which is, I think, the worst thing you could do, especially if you're in a keeper league. And if you're not in a keeper league, I urge you to get in at least one keeper league, because that really keeps you, you know, focused throughout the entire offseason, makes you a better fantasy football owner, and makes your team better. I know that there's a couple of owners in my leagues, they quit right after they're out of the playoffs, or if they don't make the playoffs, they're done looking at it. Whereas there's others, whether they make the playoffs or win the championship, they stay focused throughout the entire offseason, and that makes them better owners and better teams ultimately. They're the ones who are always in the playoffs and always in the championship. I myself focus all offseason. Now, I don't spend as much time as I do during the season in fantasy football, but I still make sure I'm checking my updates, the news, looking at different teams, seeing how I can better my team throughout the entire offseason. There's a lot of things that we put in place to make sure that people stay focused, because if you don't get your other owners focused, you can't make a lot of moves and make your team better because they're just not paying attention. Now, from the championship to the Super Bowl, there's still a lot of activity going on, and you might be able to work with some other owners. Some of them might be hesitant because the player's still playing, it could get hurt, and making trades like that, so it's difficult. But I mean, like this next week, I think will be very popular for some fantasy football trades. So some of the things that I'd like to do some videos on are our draft lottery system, our free agency, and our contracts. So they're things that we all voted on and implemented into our leagues that keep people interested throughout the off season, and really to get people more involved when football isn't being played. So tonight, today, whatever, whenever you're watching this, right now, I'm just going to talk about the draft lottery system, and we'll get into contracts and free agency in some other videos. I won't cram them all into one. So the draft lottery system was essentially set up so that teams don't forfeit at the end of the year or give up or throw in the towel. We want everybody to be trying as hard, because if a team gives up, they might be playing somebody that you don't want to win in order to better yourself, and if they give up and they let that team win, you don't want that to happen. And you don't want people just throwing the games to get the #1 pick. So that's why we created draft lottery systems, and we did it 2 different ways. I'm in 2 keeper leagues, and one is the very basic way. So in one league, we have 4 teams that won't make the playoffs. All the other teams make the playoffs. So we have 6 teams in the playoffs, 4 that don't make it. The 4 that don't make it, very simple. The team with the worst record gets 4 balls. The team with the second to last record, 3 balls. The third team gets 2 balls, and the last team gets 1. We throw all the balls in a hat, shake it up, pull it out, and whoever's ball gets picked gets the #1 pick. We take the rest of their balls out of the hat, and then we pick between the 3 remaining teams, and we go 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's our draft lottery system. Right there, that's who gets the #1 pick. Luckily, in that league, I will tell you, and it's a little bit different with contracts, and we'll get into that in a different episode, but I had both Todd Gurley and Antonio Brown, who I could not keep because of contracts. And so I had to trade them, and I made some decent trades because I wasn't able to keep them, and now I'm locked into some good first-round picks. But that's more later. But that's how the draft lottery works. Very simple. You know, then everybody gets a little bit of a chance, no matter if you finish the last or, you know, fourth to last. You have an opportunity to get that #1 pick, and therefore no reason for you to throw the games, although you do get better balls and might improve your odds, but we don't encourage that, and we take steps otherwise to do that. But that's your normal draft lottery system. And what we'll do is, so we know how many balls each team has right now, we'll wait until, historically it used to be the Final Four weekend of college basketball, and you know, it'll actually be when most of us can get together. We do it a lot on St. Patty's Day. So on St. Patty's Day, we'll do the draft lottery system, and we'll videotape it and put it up on YouTube so everybody can see it. I already have copies of previous years on my channel, so check it out and you can see it, and we'll make sure it's even better now that I have an official channel. So stay tuned for this year's draft lottery system. The other draft lottery, so the second keeper league, is slightly different. In a very similar fashion, the bottom 6, so there's 6 teams, we have 12 teams in this league, and 6 of the teams don't make the playoffs. And in a very similar fashion, they get so many balls based on the finish, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so the worst team gets 6. Okay, and we put them all in a hat again and we pull them out. Now the difference here is, what we've been finding is, although you know, we don't want people to throw the game, we also don't want to penalize that bad team. We want to make those bad teams a little bit better, create some parity in the league, because if you're just going to keep losing and not getting good players, why would you want to continue to play fantasy football? We got to give them the opportunity to better their teams. And what we found was, with 6 teams, you could have the worst record in the league and pick 6th, not even in the first top, 3 picks, and that doesn't seem fair to that team. They're picking all the way down at 6, and in a 12-team league with multiple keepers, the players that are available in the draft aren't always that great, that at number 6 you're going to still get a good stud. So what we did this past year is we changed it. So the worst team gets 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, as I said, and then we put all the balls in a hat, and we'll pull out the first one, and whoever has that, whoever's ball, they pick first. We take the rest of their balls out, shake it up again, then we pick the second one. Obviously that's the second pick. Now, no more picks. It's over. Now we look at the records of the remaining 4 teams, and that's who gets picked 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It goes up that way. So this way, at the worst, if the worst team in the league did not get the first or second pick, they at least automatically get the 3rd pick because they have the worst record, and then so on and so forth. So you still have an opportunity when you're a bottom 6 to get that number 1 pick, but the last team will never pick worse than 3. And so that helps. Not only does it help with people not throwing the league at the end of the year, but it also helps with that team who really struggled to put things together to better their team by at least having the number 3 pick. So that's how we do the draft lottery system. Hopefully that helps you. Again, if you're not in a keeper league, get in one. Start, looking at these different kinds of rules that you can keep everybody interested. We will do the draft lottery, like I said, in a couple months. It gets more people interested. When the picks come out, then more trading happens and things like that. But stay involved in your off season. I will continue. I will come back. I will talk about free agency. That was a really big one for us and very interesting on how we do that. Contracts, a little bit smaller of a deal, but we like that as well. And I'll try and keep you updated throughout the off season on the fantasy football things that we do to keep all the owners focused. All right, enjoy the Super Bowl. Hope the team that you're rooting for wins. I know it won't be the Falcons, but maybe next year. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.